All right, I'm now on live on YouTube. That's good. That's good. So I think I'm almost there. Let me move over a little bit. There we go. There we go. I think I'm comfortable now. Sorry, I'm so late, folks. But I have been trying to get on um all, all evening. I've been really trying to move on it since about 3 o'clock. Yeah. And I've been suffering with a really bad cold. These summer colds are the worst. And now the weather is changing. So it's going to be miserable from here on out. So welcome to Almost Dawn Live, our production of DC Tarot Dreams. Hi, I'm Queen, your host for Almost Dawn Live. Hi, Clubhouse. Hi, YouTube. Now, I need you to stop right now and smash the like button. And for those of you who don't know me, I have a daily pre-tape show called Almost Dawn where I give your lucky day, lucky number, tell you how to stay safe, and give you an inspirational talk about happiness. Like, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. And happiness shared is happiness doubled. And our days are happier when we give people a bit of our hearts. And my favorite is happiness is free, but priceless. Right. And after a clubhouse room I attended last night with some young spiritual healers, I want to add you can't help or care for anybody when you're unhappy. Never forget that you walk the earth with others. So choose life, choose happiness, and make someone smile. It's so important. And at my age, I can say with confidence, it's a life or death importance. Peace. So, you guys, I've been gone for the past week because I'm trying to catch up on the eclipses. If you don't know, we have a lunar eclipse today. I believe it was at 3 o'clock. It was exact around that time. And we are expecting a solar eclipse on September 21st. Wow, September 21st is a 3 day. So, on the day of the solar eclipse, go out and play your lucky numbers. So, I have the lunar eclipse done, it's online, but I'm still working on the solar eclipse. And one reason for my delay is that I came down with a terrible cold I've been suffering with. And I'm finally getting over it a little bit. I'm not too. I feel good. I have good days and bad days. It was really I think it was more like the flu. So I'm still working on the solar eclipse. So I won't be back with my pre tape morning shows until Monday, September 15th. So, what am I going to talk about this week? Well, this week I want to talk about what makes it your lucky day. As you know, a nobody made a complaint to YouTube that I was making unreasonable claims. So we'll talk about one aspect of their complaint, and that's how I determine a lucky day. Maybe the nobody will tune in and learn something. Let's hope so. Then I'll go over who is having a lucky day this coming week. I'm also going to preview the upcoming solar eclipse, with a little bit about Uranus, Neptune, and a smidgen about Pluto. Then I'm going to replay my recent release of the lunar eclipse. And I want to go over our last tarot reading where we saw a push to make our president follow the rules and the re-emergence of Melania. Then I want to do a tarot reading on the president's physical and mental health. I like to go over the old readings to see how accurate, I was, and to share other insights. Sometimes when you go back over the cards, you find out more things. And I think that's good. It's a good way to learn and share. But before we get started, I need you to stop right now and smash the like button. Now, I determine it's your lucky day when the transiting moon is in the same sign and house as the sun. Today, the transiting moon is in Pisces. So let me share a slide where you can see the moon and the various references available. So bear with me, folks. I'm trying to get the image up. And I don't know what's going on with this thing. And there we go. Oh, wow. There we go. That's it. That's it. All right, guys. So this is basically how I find the your lucky day. When the moon is transiting and it comes across your sun. Okay, right here. And this looks very different from the eclipse chart, guys. But when your moon is transiting your sun, that's usually a very good day for you. And I found things like this is like your personal new moon when your mind and body are recharged for the month ahead. And this is when you feel more integrated and at one with yourself than at any other time. Your relationships are more harmonious as well. And I got that out of Planets in Transit by Robert Hand. And I also got a fresh burst of vitality and the feeling nature is heightened, hunches, feelings. Okay, especially the ability to tune into immediate surroundings. And that's what makes that day so good to actually go out and talk to people, push your product or your service or do a job interview. Really good days for that. And when the moon is conjunct the sun while it's in transit is such an aspect in the natal chart means that a person has charisma, the ability to achieve goals, complete any undertakings, and justify the highest expectations. And I just got that off the net. And if you go out to the internet and you say transiting moon to the sun, you're going to come up with all of those things. Now, there's another interesting thing about the sun you should know. Because you'll say, well, it has to be conjunct the sun. No, there's a huge orb. And some people count 9 degrees, other people count 10. So you have the waxing degrees where that moon and your charisma and your being in tune and being able to feel out your immediate surroundings and all that. That's building. And then when it hits your sun, it's at its peak. Okay. And then once it passes your sun, it wanes. And it's going to wane for 9 or 10 degrees. What does that mean? Well, the moon typically stays in a sign for about 2 days, give or take 2 days. And that means there's about 40 hours. 2 days is 48 hours. 40 hours where you can actually take advantage of what's going on with your moon. And so what I do is, I don't know what your chart is. I do a basic sun sign. When I do them, I do the sun sign, and I try to hit the middle of the month. I try to, make sure that I'm in the middle of the month for your sign. So it gives you a general overview of what your lucky day will be like. Again, it's bumping back 10 degrees and it's jumping forward 10 degrees. And there's only 30 degrees in that space. Because I use whole houses, but if you're not an astrologer, you don't need to know. But I use whole houses, so I get the 30 degrees on my chart every time. So for almost 21 degrees, you're going to be engaged with the sun, and thus have all these benefits. You're going to have charisma. You're going to have the ability to achieve your goals. You'll have the ability to complete any undertaking and justify your highest expectations. And when I talk to people about how they feel or what's going on their lucky day, most people come back and say, I feel really good. I'm feeling good today. I was feeling lousy yesterday. I'm feeling really good today. Or I was feeling funky yesterday, and that funk left me, and I'm feeling much better today. So, it really is a huge difference, and you should check it out. You should definitely check it, especially if you know the day you were born. Okay, at least at a minimum, the day you were born. Okay, it's best if you know the day and time, and then you'll be able to track that. But most people say they feel good. And the other thing about feeling good is, when you feel good, you can do anything. I mean, you can do, the sky's the limit. You can do anything. You can do anything when you feel good. All right, when you feel good. You feel good, you could go shopping all day. When you feel good, you go exercise and do chores and run to the doctor and pay some bills. You're having a fully productive day. Your lucky day. And because you're in tune with the environment and with what's going on around you, play that lucky number. Play that lottery. See how it works out for you. May not work out every time, but see how it works out for you. And the best time to play your lucky number is when your lucky day, and this doesn't happen very often, but when it does, take advantage. If your lucky day falls on a 3-day, okay? And that's the 3rd, the 12th, okay, the 21st, and the 30th. So it's 4 times a month that 3-day comes up. And I'm mentioning that because in a lot of numerology books, or people who are very well versed in numerology, they'll all tell you that the three is a lucky number, and most people and win prizes on 3 days. If you look and see when did people win the big lottery, you know, um, or the big jackpot, it's usually on or around a 3 day. So definitely check it out. So that's my explanation for um your lucky day. Your lucky day. And tell to nobody. And you guys know who it is. I don't. I mean, they're probably out there saying this and that, and I don't know who this is, and she's this and she's that. They're giving you a lot of yarn. They don't know astrology the way they should know, because that's sort of a basic thing. It's really basic, and you don't have to go any further than the sun and the moon. And you don't need to be an astrologer to figure out what sign the moon is in. You can find it in many astrology calendars. Sometimes regular calendars have it on there. Check out some almanac calendars, or pick up a book that's called a daily ephemeris or an ephemeris, and it'll definitely tell you, when it's happening. And some ephemerises come with an aspectarian. It's going to show you the aspects, what they're connected to, and where they are, and you can pick it up like that. But you don't have to be an astrologer to figure out what your lucky days are. So, when the nobody sent in that complaint to YouTube, they were just being mean. They thought I was monetized, and they said, "Oh, I'm going to make it so she doesn't get her money on time." And they were being cruel. Okay, and hardy, hardy, har. You did nothing but embarrass yourself, because I'm going to tell everybody. That's the one thing you should know about me. If you do anything to me, I'm not going to keep it a secret. I'm going to tell everybody. I am going to tell everybody. So the folks having lucky days this week are, of course, Pisces. Pisces, because of the lunar eclipse, Pisces is going to have, for the next 18 months, years, 18 months, Pisces is going to have a bunch of good days. So, Pisces, if you've got something you need to do, if you want to push forward in your life in any way, now is the time to do it. I mean, there's even enough time to take a class and learn something new, and go after things that way, if you can get the money to do so. Because right now here in the U.S., we're in bad shape. With our current president. I don't know what he's doing. But Pisces is going to be very good for you for at least the next year to 18 months. 18 months. Um, Lunar eclipses, some of them are major, some of them are minor. It all depends. It all depends. We had one last fall, and I called it Bigot's Bane. And of course, it was the lunar eclipse that presided over the election. And what did we get? A whole bunch of bigots came into office. That's what, and we couldn't do anything to ward them off. They just seemed to be everywhere. We did what we could, but it just seemed like they were everywhere. So that one's gonna stick with us for a while. It'll be a year in November, and then I would say I'd say it's probably running, because they're out there, they're strong, they're impacting, they're still trying to impact us as we're moving forward. So the other signs that are having a lucky day are Aries. Aries, and so Aries, you're going to be like Tuesday and Wednesday, and Taurus, you're going to be mainly Thursday and Friday, and in the evening, Gemini is going to take over around 5:38 p.m. on Friday, and Gemini is going to enjoy their lucky days over next weekend. Okay, well, you know that I like to horse around. I like to horse around. So let's ask Mr. Predicto if I can get into my preview of the upcoming solar eclipse. Okay, Mr. Predict. Mr. Predicto, can we talk about the solar eclipse? Everything points to yes. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's move on while we got the chance, because Mr. Predicto turn up and say no. You'll say no. So let's get into my preview. Oh, but before we get started, I need you to stop right now and smash the like button. That's for the people on YouTube. Smash the like button. Mm-hmm. Well, there are a few special things about this eclipse. Mm-hmm. And the first thing I want to share is that Uranus is retrograde in this eclipse and is dragging back over the Pleiades or Seven Sisters, impacting the fifth house of lovers and children and pleasure. The Seven Sisters are all about sorrows, and a lot of times they'll be something sensational. If in your personal chart you have a planet that's dragging over the Seven Sisters, you might have an ailment that pops up during that time, or maybe an accident or something like that. And the last time Uranus drug over Pleiades was, I think it was around the end of June, when we had a mass casualty event that included the Texas flood. And we also had an outbreak of measles because Uranus is right on the border of the sixth house of health. So when we had the Texas flood, Uranus was in the house of lovers, children, and pleasure. Okay. And it's moving into the house of health. So we had that also resonating there because it's in close proximity. Mm-hmm. Um, and that's kind of scary. That's kind of scary. So, all I can say is hold on, folks. Hold on. Uranus takes about 84 years to traverse around the chart to make complete to move completely around the chart to the same position. It takes 84 years. And on September 21st, 1941, 84 years ago, we were in the middle of World War II. And some of the events included the Battle of Kiev. Yeah, you heard me right. I said Kiev, because we hear about Kiev all the time, don't we? Because of Ukraine. Well, here, 84 years later, we're hearing about Kiev again. And back in 1941, the Germans captured the city. Today, Russia is trying to capture the city. But Ukraine is putting up a fight. They are definitely putting up a fight. 84 years ago, on September 21st, President Roosevelt put out a shoot on sight order in the Battle of the Atlantic. And what just happened, folks? What just happened, folks? We had a shoot on sight order in the Atlantic around Venezuela. Okay. In September 1941, we had the beginnings of experimental gassing at Auschwitz. We had a large massacre of Jews at Babi Yar and Ponary. And this is most interesting. We had a powerful geomagnetic storm that caused widespread radio interference and disruptions to electric power grids worldwide. Auroras danced across the night sky as voltage surged in power grid lines. This was the first occurrence of a space weather superstorm. And I mean, that was a big new thing, to call it a space weather, you know, that kind of stuff. So if we turn our sights to today, again, Kyiv is under attack by the Russians, and their end goal is to capture the city. And President Trump approved a shoot on sight order in the Atlantic. And some would argue that there have and continue to be massacres of people here on Earth. There's wars everywhere. If all you have to do is get online and type in war, and all this stuff will pop up because there's wars everywhere. Excuse me, folks. So let's stay aware, play it safe, and pray that nothing else turns up. Yeah, I'm going to drink something warm. Oof. You can tell my cold was bad. The second special thing about this eclipse is the planet Neptune. But before we get started, I need to stop right now and remind you to smash the like button. Smash the like button. Not too many folks out here to talk about this stuff like me. I do pick them up, before I do these things, I go out and I say, who's talking about this? Who's talking? And there are some people, but there's not a lot, so this is good stuff. Smash the like button. So Neptune will be at 0 degrees Aries on September 21st. This means that Neptune is going to show in a big way. Aries is a cardinal sign, and whenever anything hits 0 degrees in a cardinal sign, just expect something big to happen. Okay, expect something big to happen. Now, Neptune is the planet of illusion, delusion, and unconsciousness. And the last time Neptune crossed into Aries was in 1861. Did you hear me? 1861, and lasted through 1875. So what were the events going on? The Civil War was going on. And what was it about? Issues over freedom. The Homestead Act of 1862 occurred, and it encouraged migration to the West. There was the rise of the rugged individual. The rugged individual is an American myth, like the cowboy, the rugged individual, independent. I can live off the land independently, rustle up hoodlums and 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 drive cows and all that kind of stuff. And use a 6 shooter and play Billy the Kid. Yeah. So that was when our mythology of the rugged individual or the cowboy emerged. Okay, we had the first transcontinental railway route. Okay, it was completed during that period when Neptune was in Aries. Color photography was developed. The first Christmas card was produced, and oil pipelines and wireless radio telegraphy became a reality. And hold on, folks, I got a big one here. Accident insurance was introduced. Yes, they came up with it. They probably said there's too much stuff going on with these wars and people moving out west and getting lost. We need accident insurance. So if we turn to today, what are we seeing today? What are we seeing today? We're seeing dictatorship versus democracy causing issues of freedom. We're going through a falling dollar. Okay, we're going through the rise of the strong man or daddy. You've heard that, people saying a strong man and daddy as far as the person who will lead our country. And what does this come out of? Our myth of the rugged individual or a cowboy. We're going through a tariff war. Yeah, we're going through a tariff war. Voice radio. Remember, you used to turn on the radio and listen to music. Who does that anymore? Voice radio is succumbing to the internet. And I notice more and more every time I get on the internet, there's another radio personality on the internet. In fact, people on radio also do podcasts so they can boost their listenership. We are going through a widespread use of basic artificial intelligence, not advanced, but basic artificial intelligence. And anybody that works with AI knows that we are not that far gone yet. There's a lot of small stuff out there, but and it's really taken off in industry as far as robotics and all that, but it hasn't taken off with individuals like you and I. Okay, our phones are pretty good, but they don't have much. It's basic. Okay, we are going through a loss of individual privacy and the dawn of citizen surveillance, where we're all being surveilled. Somebody's watching us all the time. We're going through a breach of our due process rights. You hear about it every day almost. Okay, we're going through an erasure of history. People want to go out and change history. I don't like that. I'm gonna change it. Well, guess what? If you get into history, if you read what's in history today, you will be shocked about what you will find, because everybody participated in American history. Black, white, Asian, Indian, everybody participated in American history. You got to include everybody. It's just not one. Okay. And the big one is the breach of the Posse Comitatus Act, which this is huge, which is the our leader, our president, ordering troops to patrol the streets. And that's huge. So back in 1861, from 1861 to 1875, they were going through something similar to this, something very similar. And if you keep up with history, and you should, you will find that out. There's a good history person out there. Oh God, help me. Heather Cox Richardson, and she writes an article every day, and she'll send it free to your email, and it's Letters from an American. I believe that's the title. Hopefully, God help me. Sometimes my memory. Um, Letters from an American. Excellent historian, and she ties a lot of things together. You know, what people were thinking at certain times, why they were thinking it, how these things have come up before. A lot of these issues that we're dealing with now have come up before because we have in our culture those types. We've always had in our culture those types. And I've known it. And that's why when I meet people who come from other places, this is, I'm coming to America. I want to let them know, do you know? You have no idea what's in America. You have no idea what that's about. You're looking at, Hollywood and glitz and that people have jobs, but you don't know what it took to get it like that because it's gone back and forth. It's never really been like it is right now, where we've had up until now we had government supporting the people, supporting us with our health care, making sure that no diseases break out, um, uh, helping people not fall through the cracks, single parents or mothers or someone who lost their spouse, them getting a little help, our elderly and seniors getting a little help. We were doing all that, and we're now pulling back from that and going back to a time 80 years ago when we didn't do that and people would fall dead on the street. Okay. My grandparents used to talk about that. People would fall dead on the street. Okay. And folks don't talk about that. So I think older folks like me, start talking. Start talking. You know those stories. Start talking. Start telling those kids those horrible stories about people falling dead on the street. Okay. And there being outbreaks and never being able to leave the house. Never being able to leave the house. And back in from from the flu outbreak to like the stock market crash, or right before the stock market crash, it was still pretty dicey to go out there and mingle with people because the flu was still circulating, and polio was still active, and measles was still out there. We hadn't gotten over any of those diseases, but right now we've got people who want to bring us back there. So if you had old folks around at home when you were young like me, start telling them those stories of actually going out on the street, trying to make it to the store, and somebody passing out and dying out there. And when you find out they've got some wild disease, okay, and you're running home saying, my children, my house, my family. Really bad stuff. So, unlike the lunar eclipse, enough of that. Unlike the lunar eclipse, planets like Uranus and Neptune play a significant role in this solar eclipse. Pluto does too, okay? Um, but Pluto's role, it introduces destruction and dismantling and breakdowns, and we've seen a lot of that. But Pluto's purpose is usually for rebirth and reform. You know, the phoenix coming out of the ashes. You know, rebirth, reform, that all that. So that's something for you to understand. This is an unusual eclipse, solar eclipse, because it's hitting those slower moving, very serious planets. You know, and they're no joke. And Saturn's in there too, but not exact. These other planets are a little more exact. I would have to double check and look, are a little more exact where they're hitting the sun, the moon, and the moon's nodes. Okay, that's what makes planets in an eclipse powerful, that they have to hit those points and be very close. And be very close. So to continue, understand that eclipses are big things that typically define the fate of nations, cities, businesses, companies, and other entities or enterprises. The sun usually represents the king or the president as the central figure. The eclipse talks about the central figure in terms of vitality, individuality, creative will, power, and ego. The moon represents the common people like you and I, the public, our attitudes, crowds, the lower class, women, home, and family. The eclipse talks about moon figures, us, in terms of fluctuations, instincts, nourishment, responsiveness, domestic issues, favor, and fertility. So, after considering this eclipse, this solar eclipse, and the presence of the planets making contact with the sun and the moon, I've decided to call this solar eclipse civil crisis. We are not at war, but we are in a governmental or democratic crisis. We're moving from democracy to a dictatorship. Okay. And we're still battling with it. You know, our president is getting away with a lot of things, but, you know, they're kind of slapping his hands. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Slapping his hands. So let's get into the solar eclipse I call civil crisis. But first, before we get started, I need you to stop right now and smash the like button. Again, there's not many people out here talking like this. You know, they're talking about a lot of things, but there's not that, you know, many. Um, uh, YouTube is a big platform. So if you see a dozen of us talking, talking about it, that's a small portion of people. But we are out here talking about it. So here we go with the solar eclipse I call civil crisis. Besides suffering with bigoted views, our leadership will be inundated with legal limitations. Minds are so scattered that they won't think things through and are unable to deal with crises that require great discipline. And I mean, just think about the things that have been presenting. These things need a lot of discipline. And They need for you to be educated and smart. Okay. Changes in our country's financial picture will affect our ability to borrow money on the world stage. And here's an aside, that means that China ain't giving us that loan, and Japan will sell off our bonds. Okay? Big deals, big deals. Our leadership may, for ruthless or selfish purposes, tend to deflect or bloviate. We've been seeing a lot of bloviation this past weekend over responsibility that may set powerful forces into action that will drag them down. Okay, all that talk, all that smack talk. And we did see some things happen on the world stage where we weren't included. We didn't attend certain things and we weren't included in other things. And so when we deflect or bloviate over responsibility, other powerful forces may step in and drag them down. And that's a big worry. Another thing that confuses and boggles my mind is how our leadership ignores the powerful, moneyed business interests here in the U.S. that they are harming with these tariffs. Okay, they're harming these folks with these tariffs, and this group is very, very powerful and has the ability to shut off the money spigot, or worse. Don't think they won't call China and say shut it off. If they get mad enough. They're going through the courts now, but don't be surprised. There will be a reappraisal of financial affairs pertaining to our country's relationships, partnerships, and agreements. Expect initial frustration. It's not going to be easy. But here's the big one, folks. Look for a new leader or group that may emerge who serve as a catalyst to our country's financial and spiritual growth. And I was listening to a program today, and they were talking about how Abraham Lincoln just jumped up out of nowhere. The oligarchs were carving out the nation, and they were going to make the entire nation uh, uh, slave nations. So that would have been horrible, because they would probably made everybody slave. Indian, Asian, everybody would have been a slave if that was the case. But they were getting ready to do that, and it was Abraham Lincoln who jumped up, and he was a totally unknown person. So over the next few months, look, listen, because there may be a new leader, possibly a group, but look for a new leader who may emerge as a catalyst to our country's financial and spiritual growth. Somebody who's going to come um, come with some smarts, come with some scruples, okay, and not be all about themselves, but about the people. Okay, so we are the people, we are the moon. And this is that perspective that I'm going to get into right now. The people will be caught off guard. We're all going to be caught off guard. We all want to cling to the familiar and comfortable. And we fear that things will be taken away, leading, and for some, it will lead to the widespread glossing over of anger, the use of force, and selfishness. A lot of people are watching horrible things happening on TV, and more people should be enraged. Okay. A lot of folks here in the United States, they want a strong man daddy. And again, this is a lot like the rugged individual cowboy type who provides them an impregnable home, lots of food, and someone to take care of them. Masculine traits of aggression are admired, okay? But unconsciously, all of us want that, but unconsciously in the back of our minds, we'll suffer with guilt, depression, and pessimism. Our challenge will be to overcome our need for a strong man or daddy and create our own impregnable home on our own terms, our own home with lots of food on our own terms, and our own way of taking care of each other on our own terms. And from this turmoil, three groups will emerge. The first will make needed changes to their own environment. Those people, I'm going to take care of myself. And, if something is going on that's really bad, buy plywood, block up all the windows, and hunker down, and hoard all the food and hide out. The second group will feel a great need to advocate for change and new policies. And then there will be a third group, and this group will be the one reacting to the unexpected surprises like war, storms, power outages, and maybe some other unexpected events that will affect their plans for the next period of time. Now, the key for the people to survive this period is to not let our emotions run our life. If this occurs, we all need to realize that we may not be reacting to to reality. Okay, that's a big thing with all the misinformation and disinformation. We need to check to see if we are reacting to reality, because things may get a little tough out here. Remember, Neptune is the planet of delusion and illusion, and its effects will be heightened during this eclipse period, which could last from 12 to 18. Well, this eclipse period, this is a solar eclipse, it could be up to 2 years. So it will be easy for us to freeze and not react to the reality of what we see. And most should know by now that the reality offered, by television and news, Fox, OAN, Newsmax. Somebody was on one of these programs talking about there's no inflation. I'm like, what kind of program is this? No inflation. Have you been to the store lately? But somebody was actually on, I think it was a Fox program, saying they couldn't see any inflation, that things were going to turn around. There was a guy talking about, the job statistics weren't real, and that they need to go and actually do something to the numbers. And it was a nebulous thing. It wasn't a formula. What kind of formula are you talking about? It's an attitude to the numbers, not a formula to the numbers. Because I'm not going to get it unless 1 and 1 equals 2. I mean, most people are like that. We don't want smoke and mirrors. We want the numbers to be the numbers. Okay, we want the numbers, but we had some character out there on Fox saying, "Oh, the numbers, we really didn't lose all these jobs." Let's deal with the reality of what you see. If you see people and they say, "I don't have a job. I've been laid off. I've been looking for a job for months." Da, 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 da. That's what you see. If you go to the store, the prices are high. Things have doubled. You bought this jar of sauce for $2.49 last month. Today is $4.99. Deal with the reality of what you see. Okay, deal with the reality. It's going to be very important because Neptune is going to drive it. It's going to drive it, and once Neptune gets started, there's some powerful forces. The media is a powerful force, and they'll keep telling you, yeah, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. So listen to, you can listen to whatever you want, but deal with the reality of what you see. Okay, it's very important. And once you adjust your vision and you actually see these things, don't respond with a lot of emotion. Okay, instead, reach down deep and try to respond with passion and feeling. And that'll keep folks from fighting and going crazy and pointing fingers and all that. So I know that was a lot. And I'll be working on the short for the solar eclipse this week. And hopefully it will be out by next Friday or Saturday. And just so you'll know, I'll take the solar eclipse chart and map it to each astrology signs with each astrology sign's sun chart. So tune in to find out if you'll be the one reacting to an unexpected surprise, or if you'll be the one hunkering down and only making changes to your immediate environment so you just hang in there, keep your head down and survive, or if you'll be the one who feels the need for great change and new policies. I'll be looking for that in each and every sign when I go through it. So make sure you check that out next week. So everyone, do me a favor and smash that like button. Again, there's not many of us out here doing this. There's not many of us out here at all. So when you see us come out here talking to you about this stuff, smash that like button. It's not easy. They'll tell you it ain't. Okay, Mr. Predicto. Can I replay my recent release of the lunar eclipse of September 7th? Mr. Predicto, can I replay my lunar eclipse of September 7th? Definitely, yes. Oh, wow. Okay, we're going to get that done. We're going to get that done. So stand by while I do this replay, and I hope you like it. Lunar eclipse tells the story about people who oppose their country's leadership. The people worry that their country can no longer maintain its status and loses its fortune. The people want a reappraisal of the budget and its spending adjusted, but leadership is not listening and insists on taking risks that proves to be their undoing, ushering in financial ruin, depletions, and shortages. Find out how you'll fare as we cross the Rubicon to the end of the river. Aquarius. Promotions or raises improve your income. Sadly, extra money coming in may only cover an increase in monies going out. Love affairs and children present challenges. Aries. You may renovate, move, or buy property. You want your home to be a source of support and comfort to your family, but you must learn to serve and lead while not being too sensitive. Leo. Your intuition heightens as you turn your focus to spiritual truth and wisdom. Despite political changes, you hold steady. Look for a friend who helps you master religion and finance. Libra, you benefit from a mind-body focus. Try yoga, tai chi, or arts and crafts you can share with children. Watch your emotions. You could become hypercritical of others and trigger secret enemies. Pisces, you're more at one with yourself and your relationship with others improve. You find creativity. Your popularity soars. Is someone in your circle expecting a newborn? Virgo, your way with words impresses and transforms others. This brings support, favor, and popularity. You'll experience joy, yet you feel off your game and tired easily. Make health a priority. Cancer, you need to satisfy your restlessness. You love your life, but the same routine saps your energy and brings you low. It's time to get away, so pack your bags. Bon voyage. Capricorn, you could travel, write a book, or become a social media influencer. Just stay centered and balanced. Don't allow influences from the past net you a series of unfortunate mistakes. Gemini, your popularity soars, but it places your life on public display. Yet you want your intimate life to remain private, especially at home. Work toward balance and joy will follow. Sagittarius, home has its benefits. Forces beyond your control make it hard to maintain the status quo at work. Maybe you need training, or maybe you need to turn your attentions home. Some welcome a newborn. Scorpio, being you, boo, is the best. If there's a problem, reconsider your friends. Love is favored, but watch your possessiveness. Consider new studies to boost your career. Don't rule out a talk with the boss. Taurus, there are new domestic conditions involving a group or female friends. Let them support you. Yes, you can be yourself and have fun if you meet your obligations. All right. Well, that's it. I hope you like that. And before I forget, please hit the like button. I don't know what button you can press on Clubhouse. I gotta figure that out. It's hard to figure things out on Clubhouse. So let me get that off. Let's see. I'm going to remove that one. Oh, here I'm back. All right. So again, I hope you like that. Let's see if we can get to tarot readings. All right, Mr. Predicto. You've been doing good, Mr. Predicto. You've been doing good. You've been saying yes. So, do I have the all clear for a tarot reading, Mr. Predicto? Do I have the all clear for a tarot? No doubt. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. He's been good. He's been hitting it. Lately. So I'm now going to switch my camera so we can go over my last tarot reading that showed the push to make our president follow the rules and go over the re-emergence of Melania. Okay. I'm going to try to move this phone. Hopefully you guys will hear me. Oh, I can't move it there. Okay, bear with me, folks. Bear with me. All right. This is why I need to make a lot of money. Get an assistant to help. All right. I think I got this right, folks. I got this thing right. Why doesn't it look the same? I tell you, when I do this, it's like I'm in a bed of wires. Just wires, wires, wires. All right. I'm going to dig up those cards that we saw the last time. That was something. That was quite a reading. Mm. Mm. Okay, here's one. Maybe we can get. Oh, here's the other one. See if we can get the Queen of Pentacles up, and then we can talk about. Come on, Queen of Pentacles. Pardon me. Here's the King. Come on, Queenie baby. Queenie baby. She's here somewhere. Queenie baby. Get right into it. Because that's Melania. Melania kept coming up as the Queen of Pentacles. And she came up twice. She came up twice. Mm-hmm. And now we've been seeing her with the president, helping the president. A few days ago, the tech bros were at the White House, and the president was suffering with loss of hearing or something, and she had to basically repeat what the press person said during the meeting. She had to repeat it over again. He seemed to be a bit hard of hearing or deaf or something, something, something. So last week, we got this card. And when this card came up, I was like, okay. And there were a number of major decisions that followed this week. But I'm just going to focus on the tariffs and this figure, the King of Swords, upside down next to the Hierophant straight up. Okay. Earlier, when I talked about the solar eclipse, I pointed out how our leadership ignores the powerful money business interests here in the U.S. That tariffs are harming. Well, this King of Swords upside down could be these very people. These folks will take order and discipline to new extremes. They want the president to follow the rules. And while I understand that our president is appealing the tariff decision, I believe that the folks behind the lawsuit may be, especially with this card, they may be more than a match for him. Some key phrases I dug up when following up on this reading were a lawsuit lost and a dangerous enemy. So, Prez, chill, let the tariffs go. Let them go. These guys ain't playing. I mean, follow the rules and let the tariffs go. These guys are not playing. and they'll be on the world stage. You know, these folks are homies from around the way. Please, 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 let the tears go. All right. Oh wow. And needing some help. Okay. Here, so I'm going to reshuffle these, and before we go any further, I need you to stop right now. Hit the like button. This may turn into 2 tarot readings. The first will be on our president's mental health. Then I want to do a tarot reading on our president's physical health. So I'm going to shuffle the cards before I get into it. All right. And I'm going to be dealing with the question. Push this all up so I'm playing around. I'm going to be dealing with the question. Tell can you tell me about our president, Donald J. Trump's mental health? Can you tell me about our president, Donald J. Trump's mental health? So, for those of you who don't watch me too often, this is how I shuffle the cards. It's a very random way. Guess what? I picked it up during COVID. I was on Reddit and I was trying to learn something new from people who are out there talking. And this is the little new thing that I learned. Instead of picking up the cards and shuffling them all fancy and stuff like that, you basically smoosh them around, turn them around, get them all mixed up, you know. Yes. And then you put them in 2 piles. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. And then you smush. Yeah, smush them together. There you go. And then you pull them out. I like using the Rider-Waite deck. There's a lot of great decks, but I like using the Rider-Waite deck. Okay, I want to make sure that my clubhouse folks can hear me. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I like using Rider-Waite decks. Okay, you can use any deck. I've seen some beautiful decks. It's up to you, whatever you get attached with. The only thing I recommend is to pay attention to the paper. If the cards are too laminated, it's going to be hard for, the angels and the spirits and the guides to talk through them. They're not going to be able to talk through the cards, so make sure they're paper. So, yeah, they might look cheap and all that kind of stuff, but it's paper. It's definitely paper. So, I'm going to cut these. And again, it's can you tell me about our President Donald J. Trump's mental health? Can you tell me about our President Donald J. Trump's mental health? Mental health. Donald J. Trump's mental health. Oh. Let's see if we got anybody else that flipped. I don't think anybody else flipped. Blessings. Wow. Blessings and success, which are blocked by some poor work. Some poor work. Okay. Okay. Now, this is where we think that it might be about a woman. There's some woman it might be about. Okay. The Queen of Cups, straight up. A blonde haired woman. All right. But really, it's about education, not being knowledgeable enough. So for the folks on Clubhouse, the first card that fell was the Ace of Cups. It's covered by the Three of Pentacles upside down. On the top is the Queen of Cups. She can see many worlds. Okay. I don't know who the woman is, why people would blame her. Maybe there's a lot of blondes. I mean, there's Bondi, and then his. They all look the same. They all look the same. It's the craziest thing I've ever did see, but that's what it. They all look the same. But so far, this blessing is blocked by some really poor work. Somebody dropped the ball. Maybe somebody sing to him. Let's see what else we find. Can you tell me about our president, Donald Trump's mental health? Okay. Let's make sure we don't have anything flipping. We've got the King of Swords straight up this time. An enforcer, the police, and the Two of Swords upside down, running with wolves, partying. All right, we're going to continue. Can you tell me about our president, Donald Trump's health? Oh, that's too many cards. Let's see, let me put those back in there. So. Can you tell me about our president, Donald J. Trump's mental health? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll let you know what that looks like in a minute. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Let me see if I can get this over. Move these cards over just a little bit. There's so much more room right here. Let's see where we're going here. So we get to see 2 cards, maybe 3 cards good. And then all right. So let's go for this one. All right, the first card that fell was blessings. Just a cup full of blessings. All right, for Donald Trump's mental health. But there was a lot of poor work. I guess he didn't do what he needed to do to keep that brain exercised. I know he doesn't drink. I know he doesn't drink. I know he doesn't drink. Some of us think it might be a woman in his midst that is taking him away from what he needs to think about. But really, we're seeing here that he's definitely been disappointed in love, and that he definitely needs to maybe do a little more reading, or he hasn't done enough studying or whatever. But he might be a bit disappointed in some of the things that are going on for him, and it's been emotional. There seems to be more security around him for some reason. Okay. And for the folks on Clubhouse, I have the King of Swords straight up. Okay. And in the future, he's going to be hanging out with some unsavory characters. Now, this is what's upsetting me. I have the Justice card straight up, and this is our president. This is him, the Justice card straight up. But his environment is a thumbs down, a big no. It's the Ace of Wands upside down. And what I'm thinking is that the people in his environment know that things aren't working right. All right. And once again, in the psychic space, we have the Queen of Swords. Okay. The Queen of Swords, straight up older woman. This is that woman who's his administrative assistant. She's an older woman. Nobody messes with her. Nobody talks about her. And she's basically dealing with his deficiencies. His deficiencies. And that's the Page of Cups upside down. Deficiencies, failures, disappointments, heartbreak. He's probably really heartbroken that he can't do what he used to do. Most people like that aren't. And then following the Queen of Swords is the Ace of Swords upside down. The Ace of Swords upside down. And this is about rumors, gossip, maybe cheating. I don't know. Melania has been hanging out, so I can't say that much, although she's not showing here. And the reading ends with the Hermit upside down. Okay. The Hermit upside down means he's looking for relationships, and he's trapped. When you start suffering with mental problems or dementia, you're kind of trapped, and only a few people can kind of get you out of it. Okay? He's still in a powerful position by this Justice card. But his environment, the people are walking around him saying, "No, man, he's not with it. Nah, he's not with it." So that is quite something. That is quite something. So again, I would have to say that he has a lot of security around him because he's not on the up and up. There's a lot of unsavory folks who are hanging out, and they're all probably trying to feed into his party, have a good time kind of thing. But really, they're there for some other underhanded reasons. But yeah, there's his blessings are blocked by failure. It's very sad reading. Very sad reading. And I'm going to move on and do the one on his physical health real quick. Very sad. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to shuffle up these cards a little bit. Mush them up again. Do that crazy stuff. I'm sure people are saying, I don't know why she does it like that. Look, I went out and I learned something new. Try learning something new, everyone. So, tired of folks. Now, when I run into folks all the time, they can't learn nothing. Do something different. Change the paradigm. Not too long ago, I changed my diet. I was queen surf and turf. I love going out eating steak, crab, lobster, and fish. Oh my God. These places I'm in DC. Oh my God, these restaurants are divine. You gain 100 pounds. As a matter of fact, I know people who gained 100 pounds or more. Just ordering it. Just ordering. But I changed my diet and I went vegan. And I've always wanted to. And I finally got there. And people are like, what? I'm trying to change. I'm trying not to be one of these people walking around here all sickly. You never know. You never know what God has in store for you. But don't make it easy. All right, don't make it easy. So, our next reading is going to be, can you tell me about our president, Donald J. Trump's physical health? Tell us about his physical health. Let's see. Just feel like doing it. Whoa. Not good. Just to confirm, tell us about Donald J. Trump's physical health. Mm. Mm. I wish I had money. Not good. Okay. Can you tell me about President Donald J. Trump's physical health, not mental this time, it's physical. His back, his knees. Mm-hmm. Not good. But there is hope. There's been some victories. Mm-hmm. Mm. He's fighting it. 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 Mm-hmm. He's fighting it, and there's some blessings for him too. I'll get into it. Can you tell me about our president, Donald J. Trump's physical health? Finish the story. Finish the story. Well, finish the story. Oh, that's much better. That's much better, but oof, 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 oof. Let's move these over. Okay. Clubhouse, you still with me? All right. Stay with me, Clubhouse. Stay with me. That's not major, so I gotta throw again. I get a major card. Love and end. And I'm gonna put them down in so you guys can see them and so I can see them when I go back over them. All right, so the reading started off with the Page of Wands upside down, and the Page of Wands upside down means that we're not getting good news. This is not going to be good news. All right, but it's covered by a victory, some sort of victory. Maybe they found some medicine that works for him or a routine that works for him, but something has them very pleased about some really awful situation. Now, we feel as if the gift, his gift of a prolonged life is not real and can be taken away. All right. And for the folks on Clubhouse, this is the Six of Pentacles upside down. but really it's about a triumph, triumph, and you're not, you are going to a triumph of wealth, insurances, investments. That's what this says. A triumph of wealth, like insurances and investments. Isn't that crude? That is so crude. But when you get to into the story of this family, uh, whew, oof, right now everything is on the up and up. There's something new that's coming around. There may be someone pregnant, maybe a daughter or a granddaughter. Um, there maybe someone has some new ideas that are brewing and a new scheme. Something is coming, and this is the Empress straight up. And here we go again with the Three of Pentacles. The Empress is for right now, and the Three of Pentacles straight up is for the future. Somebody's going to be doing some really good work. They're going to try to turn things around and put in a really good effort. All right, a really good effort. Now we're talking about our president's health, and what we're getting is what he wants to be seen as. He wants to be seen as vital, employable, moneyed, and he wants to be seen as a success. All right. A success, no matter what, a success, someone with blessings and success. But actually, he's kind of curious. He's kind of curious. It's the Page of Cups straight up. And I always say curious, because the little fish is coming out of the cup talking to the page. Kind of curious. Kind of curious. Maybe in love. Maybe in love. Maybe a student. Maybe, let's see, there is a student in his life. It is Baron. Okay, Baron. So, and maybe there's an issue around Baron that's going to cause what? A family quarrel. This is the Ten of Cups upside down. Ten of Cups upside down. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to remember if the Ten of Cups upside down and straight up are the same. Okay. Okay. But the outcome is the Lover's card. There's going to be an agreement. An agreement. Okay. About an ending. About an ending. Isn't this gross? But these are these people. An agreement about an ending. All right. And that's the Lover's card straight up and the Death card straight up. So again, we've got bad news terrible news. Terrible news when we ask the question, can you tell me about our President Donald Trump's health? But what's covering that is a victory. It's a temporary victory. Everybody's really happy about it. He's feeling better. We think we don't know if this is going to last. He has been looking better, but we don't know if this is going to last. And it's definitely a big victory for him. We get that with the Chariot straight up. But then we get the 10 of Pentacles upside down, and it's talking about insurances and investments. And oh my God. I mean, we're talking about this guy and him being alive. So it looks like right now, either a family member is pregnant or there are some new ideas that are coming through, something that he probably wants to get through, but some new ideas brewing. And that's the Empress, the Empress straight up. And we see some really good work. Somebody's going to be doing some really good work. All right. And we see in the place of the person, we're talking about Donald Trump, and we get the Knight of Pentacles. And I think this is how he wants us to see him, as young and viable and as blessed and fortunate and a winner. Okay, blessed and fortunate and a winner. And the more I look at this card, the more I think about Baron and how young he is, and that he's a student, And sorry guys, I am at a loss with the 10 of Cups upside down. 10 of Cups upside down. I'm thinking that there's a family quarrel. People have family like mine. Oh my God, they quarrel over everything. But the outcome is an agreement. Oh my God, on an ending. And the agreement is the Lover's card straight up, and the ending is the Death card straight up. I did want his kids to come back, but I'm more of a compassionate person. Well, my dad did do all right, but some people don't have that kind of love in their family. What can you do? What can you do? Let's ask more questions. I want to ask about this idea and this good work and who this gentleman, the King of Pentacles, is. So let's see if we can get. Woohoo! Hang in there with me. Clubhouse. You hanging? Hang in there with me, Clubhouse. You can do it. Okay. An agreement, a quarrel, and an agreement on an ending. I can't believe that. But that's what came up with my cards. Oh my God. All right. So what is this bright idea? We've got the Empress card, which is going on for our president right now. The Empress card, pregnant and waiting. Is that a daughter or is that a plan? Because he's got a couple of daughters now. A couple of sons too. They expecting a newborn. I'm telling you, these cards are so smooth. It's so smooth, they're almost scary. Hmm. That's, I'm going to say too many on that one. Too many. That's a long story. We'll be here all night. And let's see. These cards are smooth. Good paper. Don't ask me about this person. This card, the Empress card, what I'm getting for it is having strength in the face of defeat. And that is the Strength card straight up, and the Seven of Wands upside down. And that's landing on top of the Empress card. Something new, something new. So I guess he's trying to have strength in the face of defeat. Maybe because his body is defeating him. I don't know. But let's take a look at what the Three of Pentacles means. Something he's going to do. Looks like a project he's going to do in the future. Work he's looking at for the future. And the project he's looking at for the future is his family's legacy, his family's wealth, his family legacy. Wow. That's abysmal. He's not feeling as if it's going to do that. All right, now let's find out who this Knight of Pentacles is that's landing in our president's space where he's supposed to be. And let's find out who this is. Who is this Knight of Pentacles? Is this our president or who is this? Tell us more about this card. Oof. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Somebody else may not be well. Somebody else may not be well. I'm getting two queens upside down, or they may be feuding. Feuding, oh my God. A message and the Tower card upside down, which means he might pull through it. He might pull through it. Okay. There's definitely a message where two females are feuding. Okay. And it is really a mental battle. but he may start feeling better. And of course, this on top of the Knight of Pentacles is the Ace of Cups straight up, which definitely speaks to good health, vitality, luck, blessings, and all that. Mm-hmm. And my last question will be about the last card, which is the Death card, which is End. Like I said, this reads, I would say, um, the topic of barren erupts a family quarrel. There's an agreement about an end, about the end. Whew. What? Tell me more about the ending card. What is that talking about? What's ending? The president is the presidency ending, is a marriage ending. What's ending? So this ending means that they're going to get over a hump. It doesn't mean death. It it doesn't mean death, but they are definitely going to find out something. And because these cards came up before I put them back, and it's about stealing. It's about theft. It's about theft, and this action is going to bring heartache and pain. So there's an agreement that things end. So there must be something happening. I'm going to go back over it. It looks like, yeah, the president's sick. He's not doing well. But his major concern is family money. Family money. Because there's a theft going on. Money's being sucked away. And that's what has these women quarreling. Two queens coming up back to back, upside down, quarreling. Wow. Wow. And it might be these females. One of these females is sucking off money. One is, and if it is Melania, who's been coming up as the Queen of Pentacles, she's upside down, but the Queen of Pentacles upside down means illness, and the Queen of Wands upside down means hoe. Wow. Some sort of theft. Very good, very good. I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied. So, what did we learn? Have we learned anything from all of this? What have we learned? I'm pulling out my oracle cards. See what the oracle cards have to say. Oof. All right. This one deserves it. Woo. All right. Wow. So this card just flipped up and it's a fork in the road. Okay, this is going to be a fork in the road in a relationship some way about our president. A fork in the road. To be fair, that means there's been some lying. Okay. It's going to be some changes. Some changes. Some changes. Put this. Oh, I hate to do that. On. Fork in the road. Some lying. Changes. There's like a deep knowing. This is tick-tock time running out, but there is still time to build and plan and then rest and peace. Mm-hmm. So I would say that right now our president may be under some stress that's affecting his health, okay, his physical health, okay, because something's happening with the money, the family legacy, the money, okay. Wow, wow. I love digging in and then seeing whether or not things are going to happen. Wow, this was good, folks. I'm glad you tuned in with me. All right, so we had a reading. We covered everything. And now that the reading is over, I just have some thoughts. I think our president knows he's going down. He's been saying things like he wants to go to heaven. So he knows that his health is not good. Okay. And he's been trying to deal with it. He's getting some help. But, helping somebody is always stressful. So Melania may not be doing really good. She came up as the Queen of Pentacles and she came up again. But then we've got this one that's hoeing around. I wonder who that could be. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, so you never know. You never know. Let me pull this back. Yeah. Yeah, just as you're thinking, we'll see what happens next week. It'll be about a week or two, and we'll figure it out. It seems the cards seem to be pretty accurate on what, in general, is happening. Although I don't know. I don't know if you'll ever admit that about anything to pertaining to family fortune, but but we may hear something about the family fortune. Okay, okay. And the two women. Who is the whole? Oh my God. Oh. Um, I wouldn't want nobody bothering me when I was sick, but guys are. It's the whole. Mhm. And siphoning off money. Mm. We'll find out more, but we do know there's some things that we do know. We do know that he always wants, when he puts out pictures of himself, always puts out pictures as if he's a young man or a young person. So it may not, that may have been him, the Knight of Pentacles, him thinking that. But he does have a lot of blessings. He definitely has a lot of blessings. I will never say that he doesn't. He's very blessed. I won't say what my mama would say. I'll just say, okay, I'm black in America. And my mama would have a particular phrase for someone who's never had to pay their dues, who happen to be white. But we're not going to go there right now. But it's very interesting. It's very interesting, yeah. Yeah, at first I was going to, yeah, that thing it was trying to tell me something. Somebody is siphoning, messing with the legacy. I guess people want to know where they're going to be at in the will. Ooh. Guys, it's been good. I know it's been really long. Let's see, I think I got this on. Oh, it's been really long. That's good. That's good. Some people like the long ones. They'll listen. They'll listen like at bedtime and all that kind of stuff. I do. I listen to things at bedtime and I always look for long things to listen to. But I think that was pretty good. I hope you enjoyed uh, learning about how I figure out your lucky day. I hope you enjoyed really digging into that solar eclipse. that we did. I hope you enjoyed my lunar eclipse short. I hope you enjoyed those readings that we had on our president. Oof, oof. I tell you, I don't know if I'm going to be here 50 years from now, but there's going to be some stories. We may not have to wait 50 years. Maybe in the next 10 years, we'll figure out, we'll get the real story about this family and what's going on right now. I know that guy, Michael Wolf, he's been pretty good. I try to check him out whenever I can, but it's been really good. Well, before I close, I want to remind all of you that I plan to take a few days off from the pre-taped Almost Dawn series here in September, specifically from September 8th through September 15th. I'll still be working, but I'll be working on the solar eclipse. So look for it next Friday or Saturday. It's a job to do those little ones and time it out just right. It's a job because uh it it's got to be concise. The message has to be really concise, and you might not think it takes a lot, but it takes a lot. It takes a lot. And well, that's all for Almost Dawn Live. Remember, happiness can only come from you. And I think it was Beyonce who said, only you can make you happy. Only you can make you happy. And when you decide to be happy, that's when you're open to moments of accidental happiness. I'm Queen, and I'll see you hopefully next Sunday right here at Almost Dawn Live. Good night, YouTube. Good night, Clubhouse.